Hello, my name is Philip, I'm a filmmaker, and today we're going to be analyzing and crafting theories about the ending of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Only the most crackpot, insane tinfoil theories that we can imagine. But we also have a whiteboard. We have things like fate and time and going gaga written down. Do you understand? This is important. The paradox of fate. It's important. So buckle up. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Make sure to check out my main channel, which has 130,000 subscribers. We're going to be talking about big brain theories, small brain theories, dumb, smart, and everything in between. I have some insane ones you probably haven't heard yet. And today I'm joined by the auspicious BackgroundGuy02.
I'm a full-time broadcaster on Twitch, BackgroundGuy02. Every year I run an event called the Final Fantasy Fiesta, where I play through the entire franchise, start to finish, with my friend Seven Sins, and it's a great event.
He's awesome though. He runs a great stream, so make sure to check it out and stop by. Let's go most insane crackpot, and Zack is alive in some capacity, alternate timeline, whatever. Let's go, you know, crazy. Sephiroth now has control of fate itself. He freaking absorbed destiny itself. He absorbed the threads of fate at the end of this game, and now is throwing them at you. Sephiroth, Zack's alive, and you get to like whatever Laguna flashback of playing as Zack and having a good time, and then Sephiroth just goes into that timeline and kills him all over again. Like, I think they're really gonna play up the, like BGG said, the fake outs and the like whatever, possibly Jesse. Like, if Jesse's alive, if Biggs is alive, it's because Sephiroth wanted it. That's my theory. Like, he has a purpose for everybody now. He's gonna kill them at some point.
Crackpot theories on Jesse and Biggs and everything?
Oh, totally. What's your perspective, man? What do you got?
Zack is the one that saved him.
Ooh, because he's still alive. There you go. Yeah.
Because he's
that
still
could be
alive,
cool.
yeah. Zack's still alive, and he's
Ooh.
like, you know, maybe Cloud thought he died or something, but he meant to come back. He was nursed over the last month. They say that he sees that Cloud has kind of got his sword and living his life like he wanted, and Zack is just like, hey man, you did the thing you promised. I'm going to let you do the thing. But like, you know, he sees this stuff going on, and he's kind of shadowing you. And he saves Biggs and Jesse and Wedge.
I like the sound of that. You see, that's a good crackpot theory right there.
Wedge and Jesse. What do you think happened to him?
And he was probably, I'll kill them later, or if I don't, like.
I was thinking about a different character that's neither of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you start to think, oh, maybe she can live too.
Yeah. No.
Taken right from you, like, and I guarantee you, they're gonna set up the scene so perfectly to make you think,
oh yeah,
you know.
I agree.
We're gonna make it through this. We're gonna make it through this, and boom.
Yep, I see this.
Just like with Barrett in the tower.
Like how I would write the scene, if it would be BGG said, you could do it numerous ways. But if we'll just say, we'll go crackpot for a second. Say it's Advent Children Sephiroth. He literally said, "I'll never be a memory." Poof, he's back in the alleyway with Cloud, and he's like, "Crap, I gotta plan this better." Sephiroth comes down, and then like Cloud stops it, and then Cloud's like, "No, whatever," and Aerith's foreseen it and stuff, and there's hope, and Cloud just blocks Sephiroth's downward strike. And then, like, whatever. Maybe there's a boss battle with Sephiroth in the City of the Ancients. It's climactic. It's insane. But then, afterward, it's like, yeah, we got it. It's good. Advent Children Sephiroth comes out, and he's like, you thought you could stop this from happening? And just stabs her the same exact way through the back. And he's like, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So that could be an option. There's so many ways you could do it. You could do it where, like, somebody said Cloud's going to kill her inadvertently. Like, that's a little extreme for me. But like BGG said, he reconstructs his body, gains control of, without being so explicit about it, he essentially gains control of the life stream, right? Like, he enters the life stream, utilizes his powers, reconstructs his body? Like, what? Excuse me? It's ridiculous. Like, what are you talking about? And then he gains the power of Jenova because he controls her, for God's sake. This, like, horrible harbinger from the skies. Like, he's an incredibly powerful, almost god tier at this point. I see him doing whatever the hell he wants. If people are alive, he now controls fate. He's going to have a purpose for them. They don't have Jenova cells, so he can't control them, like BGG said. But yeah, I think Biggs, Wedge, Jesse, whatever, like, he's got a plan for him, and it's not gonna be nice. Like, it's not gonna leave you feeling happy, most likely. So that's my theory on that.
And then at the end of the game, you see this stamp on the bags of chips that's changed.
A little different,
to a carrier instead of a Dashund or whatever, right?
Yep.
There's gonna be a reason that the bag circles around Zack and his scene. Right, there's two things that it could mean. The most obvious is that, like, okay, it's different, much like the rest of the story is going to be, so just accept it. It's different, whatever. Like, it's changing, it's evolving, that kind of thing. The second thing is that the change only involves Zack. Like, they hint a lot in the Ultimania that, Zack doesn't die to the soldiers, he in fact defeats them, and now he's still alive. And it's like, okay, I want to, like, the logical side of me wants to say, well, yeah, but they only show the cutscene up to the point before he dies. If you watch both Crisis Core and Final Fantasy VII,
dies in the
what
storm.
happens is he gets to the precipice of the cliff, he gets shot in the back or something and not falls down, and then they come up to Zack and shoot him 6 times. Da-da-da, he's dead. And my logical side says, well, you know, they didn't show up to the point where he actually dies, so, you know, he's still going to die. And maybe we'll get some backstory, and that's why they bring Zack into the picture. But why is the bag circle around Zack? Why is it his cutscene? Why is it him? You know, it makes me think that, like, there could be more to it than just happens to be in that cutscene. Maybe Zack is alive. Maybe Zack handles the situation differently. Maybe Zack is still dead, but he dies later. Maybe, you know, there's more that they're going to be touching on.
Well, yeah, like my first reaction to that too is like, okay, people are like, he's alive. It's like, listen, he's not alive. Cloud has his sword. Okay, so that didn't happen. Like, Zack's not just gonna give his sword to Cloud when he's alive. That's just, like, why would he do that? Like, he was given that sword by Angela, if we're going Crisis Core. Like, why would he just give his sword to Cloud? So it's clearly like a separate idea. It's clearly a separate thing. It's not like Zack's gonna join. You know, Zack's not gonna be the 10th party member. He's not gonna show up and be like, hey guys, what's up, Yuffie? At the most, we get some weird Laguna thing. Or no, excuse me. At the most, we get like the most crackpot, insane level people have been getting to is like, yeah, the end of this entire saga is gonna be Zack and Cloud fighting Sephiroth together, like coming together for a final battle, and like, you know, he's the only way I can overcome him. I'm more inclined to think it's gonna go even bigger than that. I'm more inclined to think that, buckle up, guys, it's about to get weird. I'm honestly thinking that Sephiroth is not necessarily gonna be like the ultimate. How can I explain it? He's not going to be the ultimate evil. Like, what if Sephiroth... Like, notice he wanted Cloud to join him. Why, exactly? Is it just like, you know, Empire Strikes Back, join me and we'll rule the galaxy? It might go deeper than that. Like, what if Sephiroth is actually a good guy? And what if, like, you know, at the end, he's like, Cloud, join me so we can do God knows what. And there's some other weird thread, or maybe it has something to do with the Whispers. Like, who knows, guys?
Well, I think the Whispers are dead. I think that they intentionally wanted them to be there.
I think so too. But I think he also absorbed them.
As far as crackpot theories go.
Yeah, it's definitely crackpot. I don't believe this. Really, I'm just saying, like, this is about as crackpot as you could possibly go. Is that Sephiroth is not a bad guy. He's getting Cloud to join him for a very specific reason. Notice he could have easily murdered every single person in the party at the beginning. Like, if he wanted to win, is my point, right? Like, he could have easily killed them. Like, why would he taunt Cloud? He just, like, save himself right there. Kill Aerith, kill Cloud, kill Barrett. He tried to kill Barrett, but now there's no more Whispers. He could have just murdered them all. So, like, they didn't beat Sephiroth. He clearly is toying with Cloud in the Edge of Creation, and then lets Cloud live, and says, like, okay, join me. He didn't join me now, though. The time is not right. Yeah, somebody said Genesis. Genesis is the true villain. Like, no, I don't know. I don't know what it could be, but what if, you know? Like, my point is, there's a reason that Sephiroth didn't kill them. There's a reason he wants Cloud to join him. Is it really just wants to be BFFs and, like, you know, sail around space and conquer planets? Like, it doesn't seem like it. The way he's speaking is very auspicious at the end. Like, you know, what is our planet will become part of it at one time, but I won't allow you to end either. Like, what is he talking about, right?
That was actually one of the most interesting lines of all the lines. Is that
I agree.
I won't allow you to end.
Yeah, why?
And I was just like,
right?
I mean, look, okay, so as far as like Sephiroth goes, Sephiroth has a particular fondness for Cloud, and by fondness I mean he hates him utterly.
I would say more like a fascination, yeah, because he killed him.
Yeah, so the thing is Cloud is a grunt, okay, like FF7 spoilers. He's not from Soldier. That's really important to the story. How Cloud killed Sephiroth? Like, he grabs the sword that's stuck into his chest, lifts Sephiroth up, and throws him into a Mako pool underneath. Like, that is like some next level
awesome
badassery.
Yeah.
But it's the only thing a grunt could do to kill someone like Sephiroth.
He couldn't have the skills to defeat Sephiroth in a duel. He kind of just has this moment of, like, pure willpower strength and throws his ass into the live stream. Like, he surprised Sephiroth in that scene. And I think that's why he has the fascination for Cloud. Is like, there's something about Cloud.
Kill me.
Yeah, there's something about Cloud. And no, it's not like, you know, he just gets, like, super cool protagonist powers and stuff. Like, yeah, he's the protag, so he gets cool story beats. But, like, there's something about Cloud that isn't Sephiroth's willpower, right? He doesn't have the willpower to, like, control the live stream. But there's something about Cloud that's a little bit different. And it has nothing to do with Genova cells. This was before he had Genova cells, when he threw Sephiroth into there. So,
it's actually interesting because another part of Final Fantasy VII is that when you go into the live stream, Cloud actually gets kind of cleansed there. It's very explicitly stated, But Cloud effectively gets cleansed of his like corruption of Genova, more or less. Because after you get out of that scene where Tifa goes into the live stream with you and discovers the truth of Cloud's history and everything, and you have this cutscene on the Highwind. You have this like powwow, and everybody like goes, yeah, let's go, we can do it, you know, and they leave, and then Cloud just kind of like, you know, has this like breathing animation, and it's like this lighter than air sort of feel, like all that weight is off of his shoulders finally, and it's almost like he's cleansed of his Genova cells, because he never has any kind of like pangs of pain, or Sephiroth can't mess with him anymore. And it suggests that Cloud is powerful because he's powerful, but I mean, it's not because he's Genova or he's Cloud or whatever. He's just like, he's come to the, you know, into his own at that point, and he is
he's Cloud, and that's your point. Like he's himself. Like he's just a guy, and like he's a human being. He's not some, you know, like you said, he's not Sephiroth, who had a crazy moment of willpower, and he's a human. He has his weaknesses, he has his strengths. Right? He's not some cool dude. He says, let's mosey in his time, which is funny because this song is playing. But yeah, he says, let's mosey. And they're all like, really, bro? Let's mosey? Like, it's hilarious. Sephiroth has this fascination with him because he killed him. It's such a cool idea, right? And you think he'd be his enemy. But again, Sephiroth is not really a human anymore. He's kind of above such like petty emotions to be like, I don't like you. You killed me. He actually likes him because he was able to overcome him. He wants him to join him. So whatever the big brain theory or not big brain theory is, Sephiroth wants Cloud to join him, which is something we've absolutely never had in FF7, and I think it's really cool.
I'm really curious by that statement. There was the other one you were saying earlier, but that one in particular, like I really am super like. There's so much subtlety in that last final dialogue between Sephiroth and Cloud. That
totally.
Like, what is he after? Like I think what I feel is more that Sephiroth has this weird sort of like fascination, like you say, respect, but not respect for Cloud.
Right.
And he just wants Cloud to not be in his way. It's kind of like a...
Totally. It could be.
I don't think it's like a Vader Luke kind of thing. I think it's a little bit more like, I own you, and you should probably join me if you don't want to die. But like at the same time, I don't want you to be in my way because, you know.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you use the term.
Let's see what you can really do. I want to train you or something like that.
Well, I agree. It's interesting you use the word own too, because Rufus literally says to Cloud in a very disrespectful, like, I am above you as a human being, you insect. Like, I own you. You're a soldier. Like, I don't care if you quit. You're mine. And then we have Sephiroth, who he actually treats Cloud with, and this is, I'm going to talk about this when I break down the scene shot for shot, but he actually has an immense amount of respect for Cloud in the scene, in the Edge of Creation. It's a very strange thing. And a lot of people say, oh, cool fight scene. Oh, there's swords and the Masamune and the Buster Sword. But listen, like, pay attention. Like, he is being nice to Cloud. Like, Cloud and Sephiroth have an intimate conversation. Cloud touches his head. We're watching it right now. Cloud touches his head in pain. Okay? And then Sephiroth gently grabs his hand and comforts him. And he says, be careful. Like, don't lose your mind, Cloud. Because what you're looking at, you're pushing a little too far. Like, I'm a god, essentially. I can do this, but you're in the edge of creation. Like, you're going to lose your mind. Like, he comforts Cloud and, like, almost heals him. Did you notice that? Cloud's in agony. Look at this. Let me go back. Cloud's in agony right here.
I was really surprised by a lot of the things in that.
Yeah, look at this.
Scene. I know that Sephiroth really likes to torment Cloud, and that's why he never explicitly controls Cloud.
Doing this. This is where my kind of big brain theories take me, is, like, I really think that Sephiroth, like, besides the alleyway scene, like, he actually shows kindness to Cloud a lot of time. And you know, it's Sephiroth kindness. It's not like, you know, his mom
it's
saying...
like warnings almost. Yeah.
Right, and like, come home and I'll cook you, you know, your favorite meal at home, whatever. It's like, for instance, in this scene, Cloud's in agony, and Sephiroth stops him from having the trauma. Like, he's having the PTSD pain, and he touches his arm and it stops. And then notice what happens. What would have happened if Cloud didn't wrench his hand away? He's just, like, holding his arm in a caring, you know, like, are you okay way. So, you know, see behind the text even, like, look at the body language. Sephiroth has absolutely no intention of hurting Cloud in this part. He has taken him to this place to have a conversation with him and to bring him into the fold and kind of like, but notice, like you said, it's not a Vader way. He didn't chop off his hand and then say, like, join me now that you've been crippled and you can't defend yourself. You know, like, it's not that. He's literally holding his hand and saying, like, listen, This, I'm showing you the crazy stuff I've discovered as a god. I've discovered a path to the edge of freaking creation. Like, I want to explain something to you, but Cloud's not having it. Oh, let's fight. And Sephiroth's, okay, it's not yet time. Like, he's not ready for this. But that's my thing, is, like, I think it's more along the lines of Sephiroth is grooming Cloud throughout the whole game.
Yeah, grooming him, yeah.
Note it.
Word of it.
And it's not even, like, besides the alleyway scene where he's trying to anger Cloud. He talks about his mother. He talks about his village. And he says, like, hold on to that hatred. That's the line we heard in the trailer. Why does he say that to him? I think because he wants Cloud to be strong. He wants him to be hating. But I think he's saying, like, we're going to get above that. We're going to get you there, Cloud. We're going to groom you to kind of be to my level. Like, I've seen some crazy stuff. I've been in the live stream. I know all the knowledge of all the people who've died in the planet, essentially. And then, like, the Ancients and Genova. Like, we're going to get you there, Cloud. But, you know, for now, I need you to get strong. I need you to get really, really strong because I need your help. So hold on to that hatred. You can hate me. That's fine for now.
It also might be that because nobody compares to him.
Yeah.
I mean, even
exactly.
in that scene when they fight, he rests his sword on the shoulder to deflect Cloud's attacks. He's not even trying.
He does.
He's toying with him
chilling
the entire time, and then when he finally is done, he attacks. You said before, he attacks once, boom, disarmed. Like, that's it, into fight. You know, so it very well could just be that he wants him to live because he knows Cloud will be the only competition that he ever has, and being ultra super duper omega powerful. It's kind of boring when nobody stands a chance of beating you.
Totally. And somebody said in chat, this is actually a part of the God Cloud theory, that Sephiroth is building Cloud to be a vessel of the live stream. That's an interesting theory. Mine isn't that. It's almost the opposite. Like, that's more of a, I'm going to use you again, and, you know, I'm going to just, you know, what's the word? Manipulate you and control you. It seems, again, that, like, there's this air of respect. Like, look at how Rufus, a human, treats Cloud. I own you, you piece of garbage. Like, now Rufus still respects him enough to give him a duel, sort of, with his dog, right? But that's a really cool scene. In this case, we have Sephiroth. He has no intention of killing Cloud. Rufus does. He tries to kill Cloud and then says, like, bring him back in. We can't have these guys escaping. Sephiroth willingly lets them go. He's kind of grooming Cloud, it would appear. And then there's the scene in the Sector 5 where you're with... Oh, I'm sorry. After the plate falls. We have this scene where Sephiroth says, you're going to become stronger through suffering. Isn't this what you wanted? He's kind of like being nice to him. I remember saying that in my second playthrough. I was like, whoa, what is this scene? Like, I thought it was a flashback at first, but it's not. It's, you know, Mr. New and improved Sephiroth, whatever you want to say, giving Cloud another vision. And he's comforting him. It's like, yeah, your friends just died, but you're going to get stronger. We need you strong, Cloud. So if we're going to go with, like, Sephiroth building up Cloud, I think it's not to be like a... I think it's more what BGG just said. Like, it's probably really lonely. And Cloud is the only person in Sephiroth's lonely-ass life. Because remember, this is from OG FF7. This isn't Crisis Core nonsense. One of the only hints we get into Sephiroth's entire life in the original is when they enter Nibelheim. And it's, I can't remember if it's, in depending on which flashback, it's Zack or Cloud switched. He says, oh, this is your hometown, right? Like, how does it feel? I wouldn't know because I don't have a hometown. And he kind of laughs, like, very depressingly and then walks in. So, like, we know Sephiroth has a very lonely life. He's always been above everybody else. He's always been stronger. He's always been separate. He's always been special. And then, even in Crisis Core, if we're going to say that's the case, he has, like, a couple war buddies who, like, he's kind of close with, but not really. Like, I think it's this idea that he respects Cloud because he's the only one he's ever had a connection with, albeit he murdered him and threw him into the live stream. But that's the point, is, like, he's above all that. Sephiroth is not petty. He's attained, like, essentially a god form, as we see at the end of FF7. And it's at the point where he's possibly trying to welcome Cloud to become a god as well. Not sure though.
So one of them, somebody in the chat said, like, oh, it's Sephiroth before he went crazy or he went mad or whatever. It's very, like, interesting to think about that. Yeah, I think that's a really cool concept, but I think it's really easily disproven.
I don't think so at all. Yeah.
Because Sephiroth, before he goes mad, is actually just like any other dude. He's not arrogant. He's not rude. He's not mean. He's informative. He's nice. He's cordial. You know, like he's a dude. He's just very powerful. He's just like any other guy.
Yep.
They're buds. They talk. They converse. Sephiroth even gives you like a rundown of materia. You know, when you're in Nibelheim with Tifa and stuff. You know.
Yeah, he explains what it is and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he even asks like, "Huh, hey, you're jittery. What's up? You okay?" You know.
Exactly.
Well, Zack, but yeah, the point is like he's very like welcoming, and this is definitely I am up to no good Sephiroth. You know, I think what's going on here is more that like there's definitely more to Sephiroth than meets the eye.
Yes.
In the original, Sephiroth is boo-hoo, my mommy is Genova, I'm sad, I'm gonna kill everybody.
Yep.
That's Sephiroth in the original. It's kind of not a very deep villain, it's not a tragic villain, it's not an interesting villain, it's just, I'm sad because things aren't perfect, even though I literally had the best life ever and I have superpowers.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I would love to see a more like the archetype or like the heroic cycle of more of like an Anakin Skywalker. Like, but to allow that, we need to see his freaking backstory. That's what I keep saying. I want to see Sephiroth in the war. Like, how did he become the war hero Sephiroth? Right? Like, why is he this revered first soldier? Like, what was his young life? Like, why is he lonely? Like, these are the things I want to see. Like,
want to see like a really deep, long backstory about Sephiroth, but like seeing him actually like in action a little bit. Or, like,
definitely, yeah.
Missions that he did or something, like just some. Like, we talked about this before, where I said something along the lines of, like, backstory needs to be short and sweet. Some, like, flashbacks or maybe a chapter or something like that. Something, like, would be interesting. But,
what I would love is, like, picture this. Just to paint a, like, so we said he's lonely. Like, what's a reason for his loneliness? Imagine if with Cloud, it's almost the opposite. So say he was in the Wutai War. Let's talk about the Iliad again, right? So we have Hector and Achilles, the two greatest heroes of both sides. What if there was, like, a Hector of Wutai in that war, right? And what if Sephiroth like was, they were the two most respected heroes, and then one day they finally meet on the battlefield, and one of them has to die, and then Sephiroth, beats him and he kills him, but then he has like this regret, and he's like, wait, I actually respected this guy, and he's really, because no one else is like me on this earth, I'm so strong, was the only other person that could have ever understood me, and I just killed him. And like right there, that could be a 5-second thing. And it's like, oh man, he is lonely. Like, holy hell. And like maybe with Cloud, that's what he actually respects Cloud now. He's a warrior, So again, that's just one random take. I'm not saying that has to be it or it should be it. I'm just trying to get you guys an idea of how they could just give him so much character instead of I'm strong dude and I'm the best because Genova sells and now I'm upset. Like now I'm upset because my life wasn't perfect, So I think they could do a lot with it, man. And even showing his descent to. I mean, is it madness?
Descent to Madness. Normally in FF7, they'll definitely touch back on that.
Yeah.
And expand on it.
I want to expand it. And that's, like, imagine seeing a little bit more context to it. Like we said, why is he so upset by that? And to see more of a human... Again, it's going to be acted now with, like, amazing animation, and this guy's a great actor. Like, it's going to be fantastically done, and it's going to be more believable, and it's going to be, But I would love him to have more of a, more of an Arden, more of an Anakin Skywalker twist where, like, it's tragic. Because the cool thing about... whether it's a backstory, whether it's expanding Sephiroth to more of like a deeper character. I don't want to use the word relatable, but it makes him more interesting. He just becomes more human.
It's definitely relatable to someone, but
for sure.
Giving Sephiroth depth makes him a more interesting villain. Like that's
totally.
Storytelling 101 in a way. Like give your villains depth. Like
right.
Don't just be like I am villain guy and I am so evil. I played a game. I think it was. Thousand Arms, I can't remember which one. It's some cheesy PlayStation.
There's a bunch. There's a bunch of those, yeah.
And the villain is like, I am so evil, ha 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 ha.
Mm-hmm.
No one thinks they're actually evil. No one. Fake.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to quote Darren DePaul, who plays Arden Azunia, said to me in the interview, he said, every villain is the hero of their own story. And that's what Arden is. He's the hero of his own story. Arden thinks he's right. He thinks he's doing right by himself. He thinks he's a hero. And like, again, to Sephiroth, that's pretty much what happens, right? He thinks he's been wronged, and like, he's like, okay, to use the fun term.
I'll take it back, I'll get them.
You're like, they did this to us. Like, I'm more related. Like, dude, I'm such an alien on this damn planet. I'm more related to freaking Genova, man. This is horrible. They lied to me. They abused me as a fetus. They abused my mother. Like, these people are messed up, dude. I want nothing to do with these people. And like, that's what I want to see. I want to see that played up. Just the disturbing nature of Hojo or Gast and like all this stuff, where it went wrong with Gast when it might have been a better path. Like there's so many cool things they can play up to show just Sephiroth's utter disgust with Shinra and everything they do, because that's all it is. It's just more Shinra like, ooh, let's utilize the planet or other resources like the Ancients, Genova, you name it, to get powerful. In this case, let's inject it and screw with a mother like that. It's disturbing stuff. So I would love to see that played up. His just utter disgust, and like I think that's why he likes Cloud is not Shinra. He's not that brand. Cloud doesn't want to get powerful for power's sake, right? He's just trying to live his life as a guy but he's Sephiroth's rival.
Something you spoke about that really was interesting is how like you wanted to see more about like the whole injection of it in the
Right.
cells and everything.
Right.
And this game being a much more like dark tone setting game.
Yeah.
You know, like with a lot of what Hojo says and stuff, like that kind of stuff.
Ugh,
like
yeah,
really
creepy.
Messed up, you know.
Totally.
Like they treat Aerith like a piece of flesh.
Yeah.
And they talk about dismantling her mom and stuff, like really messed up.
Yeah, that was really dark stuff. Yeah.
And I think that they can really touch on a lot of like the Lucrezia experimentation and stuff like that, and really like lay on that dark theme with a lot of that history with Sephiroth and everything.
Yeah, totally. No, I'm excited because again, I think it's just like BG said, the tone's been set too for this this level of storytelling that's a lot more. And I don't want to say dark because it's not like there's no blood, you know. It's not like gore. It's not like Game of Thrones, gratuitous sex and violence for the sake of it. Like it's not that, but they've set this tone of it's a lot more human. Like what makes it so mature, and it's funny because being mature is not about blood, believe it or not. Most of that stuff's incredibly childish. In fact. Like, you know, what's the word? Like Saw and all that stuff. That's some of the most childish, juvenile.
Real life anime almost.
Yeah, it's even more ridiculous. At least anime is like trying to, you know, give you a good lesson or something like as a child for kids. Like this is just advanced storytelling, you know, techniques is how you get to a more mature tone. It's not, you know, blood. Like again, notice there's no weird breast jokes in this game and stuff, right? It's none of that. So I'm gonna quote, well, not quote, but my favorite author, Brandon Sanderson, recently said in a lecture series that he's doing, there's only a couple ways you can, like, how do you make a character a villain or a hero, or, you know, how do you distinguish these things for the reader? And pretty much you have like dialogue. You have a few different tools. You have dialogue, you have introspection, you have monologue, right? So with these tools, like, how do we make a character more interesting, and besides just like an evil villain? You can increase likability or you can decrease likability with dialogue. So that's why I like this scene with Sephiroth, is like they're increasing Sephiroth's likability. He helps Cloud. He's being kind to him. He's asking him to join him. He's asking him to join him. Lend me your strength, Cloud. He's not forcing anything. He's no longer abusing him, manipulating him. Like, he disarms him. He doesn't injure him in any way. He's behind him here, speaking into his ear. He doesn't even touch him. And then he leaves. Lets him sit on it. So that's what's interesting to me, is they're building up Sephiroth and they're increasing his likability with these tools, as opposed to, you know, just making him more evil and more cool and more dark, which would again be more of like the sort of Crisis Core or Dirge Cerberus level, right? Like a lower level of storytelling. Yeah, because I think the craziest I can go, like the highest crazy thing, is that Sephiroth's the good guy, and he wants Cloud to join him as another god for, I don't think for Dominion, because again, that's like a low level kind of I'm a bad guy motivation. That's as high as I can go. Like maybe to fight some other force. Like I don't know, man. Maybe to defeat Genova and take control of himself. Like who knows? I think Sephiroth is at the point where I don't think it's too much to ask to say Sephiroth. Like a lot of people, oh, it's Advent Children Sephiroth. It's Crisis Core Sephiroth. It's OG Sephiroth. I think he's just Sephiroth. Do you see what I'm saying? He's reached a new level of power, man, where he just is. Like he can just do whatever he wants. So that's kind of my theory. I think he's reached the same power, or almost the same power as the planet. Sephiroth orchestrate this entire battle with Fate. How would he want Fate gone? Right? Because he essentially wins. He's not even dead at the end of Advent Children. So why is he so upset by this? What he does is he has you guys beat the hell out of the Whispers, and then he absorbs the Whispers into his body. He absorbs their power. Did you see it? After that massive explosion, after you beat the Arbiter of Fate, there's this incredible big tornado, looks the same as Advent Children. He absorbs it into his arm and his body, this purple light. And then they're just gone. The Whispers are like inside him. So what does that mean? He's got full control now. So this is why you should be terrified. Okay. Why? I thought about this the other day before we did the final battle. Why would Aerith want to destroy the Whispers? Sephiroth wants us to destroy the Whispers. So why does Aerith want us to as well? It's almost like they want to get rid of this preordained destiny, this threads of fate, if you will, so they can just battle it out as two opposing forces, right? But at the same time, it's like, why would she want to do that for him? So it's almost like Sephiroth outsmarted her, and now he absorbed the Whispers. So if he's able to absorb them into his body, which he wasn't before, so maybe after we beat the hell out of them, he can do that. Cloud played right into his hand. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Sephiroth's in complete control now. And now, Sephiroth, if he can shoot the Whispers of Fate at you, He has complete control of fate? That's very bad, right? That's very bad. So it's almost like we got the trophy, hardened veteran. So it's almost like he can do whatever the hell he wants. You see what I'm saying? That's very bad for the future. He can also make whatever the hell he wants happen. So, yeah, if he has control over fate, what does it mean? But this is why I wanted to read this passage from the Iliad. Right, so here's another theory for you, or an interesting outlook, is that at the end of FF7 OG, I remember seeing it when I was like a kid at my cousin's house. I hadn't even seen the rest of the game. So watching the ending, and we have this scene where the planet is coming out and stopping Meteor, and we have, this shot of Aerith, and then all of a sudden it's 500 years later, Nanaki's running around with his kids. What does it show? Midgar ain't pumping stuff out of the planet anymore. It ain't pumping Mako out of the planet anymore, and the planet is healed. There's life abundant. It's all green. It's not a wasteland anymore. And what I got from that is like, holy crap, the message of this game, and of course, yes, there are laughing children. I think at the end you can hear them or something. But it's almost like the message of this game is more like, yeah, humans are really like kind of the problem in a lot of ways. And it's not like, oh, humans should be extinct. It's more human greed, human avarice, human power, hunger, and stuff like those are the problems with the world, really. And like the planet's now healed because that's been like Shinra's gone. That like sect of like controlling the planet for our own means, So, I mean, I don't know. Like when Red says this is a horrible thing, it's like, is that a horrible future? Like, besides Advent Children kind of changing the beat where Sephiroth's alive, and we have, Kadaj running around being crazy, and Geostigma, like, I don't know, it kind of is better, isn't it? That the planet can heal and go back to the way it was, so that's why I'm, like, there's a paradox of fate beyond what I was talking about. Why does Aerith want to destroy the Whispers? We know that Sephiroth wants to destroy the Whispers. Why does Aerith urge them to? It's clearly Sephiroth's goal, for us to destroy them, so that to me still doesn't make sense. And I think that's going to be a big mystery that we see unfold in the game as well.
So I like this theory that Igor Bro said he saw someone else do.
Oh, what's that?
Said some of the people have said Tifa dies, but Cloud goes insane afterwards, and Zack takes over and fights both Cloud and Sephiroth with Fury.
Damn.
I feel that is someone that very much is like overly infatuated with Zack's character.
Definitely.
To the point of like fan fiction where they put themselves into it and they like end up romancing Zack kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of hilarious, and Cloud is obviously in the way, and Tifa's just a big booming thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God,
Killer. Yeah.
So what's funny about that theory is like the person clearly has no idea like what's important about Final Fantasy VII plot and lore. The thing is, when you defeat Sephiroth, you've done nothing. You did nothing. The heroes of Final Fantasy VII, they go on an adventure into the middle of the earth and they pick their noses and stick their fingers up. They do nothing.
Yeah.
Because what is going on is Sephiroth is blocking Holy from interfering with Meteor. That's all he's doing down there is stopping Holy.
Yeah, he's chilling.
You go down there, you beat up Smirnoff, and he's like, "Oh, you got me, boo-hoo, I'm dead."
Yep.
And then Holy's like, "Hey, thanks, buddy, thumbs up, bros," and then gives him a high five as it goes out. And
then Holy doesn't work.
Holy, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. It amplifies the effect, in fact, I think they say. Like, it's having the reverse effect.
Yeah, it's Aerith as part of the live stream.
Yep.
And her will is strong too because she's also powerful.
Yeah.
She's also powerful.
Absolutely,
also
dude.
has a strong will. If Sephiroth can do the things that he does in live stream, sure as hell, Aerith can do the same thing too.
Totally.
And so she guides the live stream to protect the planet and take out Meteor. That's what happens.
But no, and I love that idea because it's the opposite, right? Sephiroth is this wrong, dark, like his will is strong, but look what he does with it. And then look what Aerith does with hers, right? And BGG actually...
Like two sides of the same coin.
Exactly.
They've always kind of had this contrasting character between Aerith and Sephiroth. They've always had this relationship. It's really interesting how they're kind of like the polar opposites. And Aerith's not... One of the things I really hate about Aerith, like the way that some people treat Aerith is like she's some pure Snow White angel. She's not.
Nope, not at all.
She's a human, normal person with feelings.
She's sassy,
and, emotions and a little sassiness, some playfulness. The thing is that Aerith has to die.
Yeah.
For the
pretty much
Final Fantasy VII to
exactly.
happen. Otherwise, you kill Smirnoff and you're like, we get it, guys. All right.
Bye. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing is I loved about the original is that it's quite ambiguous what happens at the end of that game. I don't know. Everybody might have died at the end. Like those characters most likely die, and you see the last thing you see is everybody's face with a big white flash, and then you see Aerith, And it's like, oh god, I guess they're dead. And then yeah, the planet's healed. Like they succeeded. They saved the planet. Like it's not about them. It's bigger than them. It's bigger than humans, right? And then you hear children laughing. It's okay. It's implied that humans do still exist in like a pure way. And but you know, even the main characters died. Like it's beyond them. But I love also it's an idea that that is so cool about FF7 is that, and Sephiroth appears to know this now, which is interesting, is that Sephiroth undoes himself when he kills Aerith. That's the thing that makes him fail.
Of his own demise, yeah.
Yep, he destroys himself, and it's so cool because it's his biggest moment of victory in the entire story.
And
he lauds it.
Holy from being summoned too.
Totally, he thinks he's stopped it. He thinks he's won. He's lauding it over Cloud. It's his biggest moment of manipulation. Is that you're nothing. You're nothing but a puppet. You can't feel anything. Why would you pretend to feel pain and sadness and cry like you're nothing? And then he's doing a T-pose, and literally a T-pose, and then he flies away and drops Shinobu to murder you. He does not care. He's won, and his greatest moment of victory is his demise. Like that was his great oversight, and it's very similar to FF15. They actually implemented pretty much the same idea, kind of related to a lot of ideas from the Torah or the Old Testament, depending on which religion you're looking at through the lens of. So like when Luna touches Arden's arm, as he kills her. And if you notice, there's that golden light, and he's like, "Get the hell off me!" And then slaps her in the face. That's what kills Arden. Like her doing that is what destroys him in the afterlife. Did you notice that? I want to do a video on this for years, but I haven't seen too many people talk about it. But yeah, then he's in the afterlife and he's about to just fight Noctis, and then you see Luna grabbing his arm. He's like, "Oh god, what the hell is that?" And he can't fight because she touched his arm when she was dying. So it's the same idea. Like Sephiroth inadvertently destroys himself by murdering Aerith, and then like we said. She's not a dark force. Like she is an ancient. Like she is connected to the planet. So when her will takes over, she takes control of the life stream for good, and she's able to use the planet's power in a healing, cleansing way, not a dark like I'm gonna use it for selfish reasons to become a god way. And that's what I love about it so much. So I feel they need to have that in there still. So I agree with BGG. That's kind of the whole point of the story, and also of course coping with the loss of a loved one. From Sakaguchi's mother, which was personified by Aerith, right? So I still think they need it. And I think they probably do it like we were saying. Literal T-pose, yeah. I think they do it like we were saying if, maybe they fake you out. However it's done, I think it'd be cool if you fight Sephiroth. That's the Empire Strikes Back ending. You beat him in another cool battle. And then, Advent Children Sephiroth shows up. He's like, yeah, we've made additions to the plan. Like, sorry, she still dies or something. And boom. But I think it's a really important story device, and I think it's incredibly layered and deep, and I would love to see it still in there. There's another theory that, which is one of the first things I thought about at the end. What if it's choice-based, right? What if you kind of decide if it's Tifa or Aerith who dies?
That was one of the big things I thought about at first.
Right.
Was like, how are they going to change that? And the only thing that they can really throw over three for a loop is choice.
Right. And the only issue is that Tifa is awesome, and I love Tifa, and she's honestly my favorite character in FF7, but she can't control the live stream. She's not an ancient, right? So she's not going to the live stream and saving the planet. It doesn't make any sense. Also, the imagery of it opening with Aerith talking to the live stream, like it's not going to be Tifa. It doesn't. And Tifa has another story function. Like she's Cloud's healer. She goes with him into the live stream and reconstructs his mind and heals him. And like BGG said, he's cleansed numerous ways in the live stream. It's one of my favorite scenes in anything. They go in together and she's so connected to him. She so cares for him that she literally goes into his psyche with him, personified, and goes into his memories and carefully, lovingly reconstructs his mind and heals him. And then he comes out, he's cleansed of Genova's influence. He's a human again. He's full again. He's whole again. And that's her story function, right? So I can't see her, going to the live stream and dying in that. So I guess my point is they could do it how they did the ending of this game, boss battle, I guess. How there's different people coming into the fight to help you, and they can easily it's not that hard. They can switch out characters and have different dialogues happen, different cutscenes, right? But that's twice the work or many times the work. I don't see them doing that, right? It's not advantageous to them as developers, especially with a massively increased size of story. I don't see them doing a whole third act twice, essentially, with different cutscenes. So I don't know, man. I think it'd be a cool idea because it would satisfy everybody, but I just don't know how on earth you write that story where Tifa dies. right? Like it doesn't seem to make sense.
Bold even. I mean, I doubt they're gonna do something like that, but
Everybody
like,
died. Yeah.
But like again, it's really hard to tell the story of like, okay, how does this happen if Aerith is alive? Does she pray to the live stream while alive to do the thing?
Right,
Or,
right. Yeah, there's maybe ways around it for sure, but again, it just seems like so much work. Like I don't know why they would take that route if they're trying to get this out and like recreate the story. So maybe they do. Like maybe they're going super like, yeah, we're giving the fans a truckload and then some of like everything they could ever want and choices and this. It's gonna be more choice than Mass Effect, and it's gonna be crazy and it's the original. Like, I mean, I'm fine with that, right? But it doesn't seem very plausible. Sephiroth goes into Zack's and is also manipulating him, also grooming Zack, who's alive, and he's grooming Cloud and Zack together to do something. It maybe kills Zack just to slam us in the gut even more. Like, who knows, man?
So there's a really interesting theory regarding Sephiroth being Sephiroth from the end of Advent Children,
Right.
Which is a really hard sell because like I mean Sephiroth's dead, and even in Advent Children, it's kind of like a little hokey that he's even there.
Yeah.
But like, so it's Sephiroth from the end of Advent Children.
Right. That's actually.
I'm not sure where it goes from there because like.
Right.
It's a pretty big crackpot theory, and then everybody happened to be there at the same time, and of course Sephiroth gets it. Like those events would just drastically change.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It would change everything. And they said they're going to tell largely the same story. So it's the same as this. Right. Largely the same story. Yeah. Here's some cool extra stuff to add a climax.
This is like my personal take on it.
Yeah.
There's one big reason why they mentions like they show Zack in the ending of this game so like vividly, and it's not just like for old fans. Oh, look, it's Zack, and this is where he died.
Yeah. No, I think it's only for new fans. Yeah.
I think that's why they have Zack there. That's my personal opinion, is that they're going to touch on Zack's story a little bit. Similar with like Calm Flashback. That'll probably be an entire chapter.
Oh, definitely.
To, like, really build on Sephiroth's character there, and then what happened at the reactor, or what Cloud thinks happened at the reactor.
Totally. Yeah.
And then also a backstory with Zack, which will add more flavor and depth to the story as you move forward, which will also give a little bit more life to an otherwise more or less boring journey across the world, because it's kind of the mid-game part of FF7.
It is, yeah. A lot of people have been going back to it and been like, wow, I haven't played this in a while, and this game's all over the place. Like, you're just doing random stuff. Like, Fort Condor? Okay, cool, fun, like, strategy RPG minigame? It's like Ogre Battle or something? Cool. And then we come over here, we do that. Like, it's kind of all over the place. Like, there's super important stuff that happens, but it's very, like, just kind of all over the place. And there's a lot of random stuff that happens. It's not bad by any means, but this is why I've said for a million years that FF10 has a far more concise and better written narrative, right? Because it's so clean. Everything is perfectly arranged into place, right?
I see a very good question in chat that I want to answer.
Ooh, what is it? Yeah, go for it. What do we got?
So someone said, if it's not Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy Advent Children Sephiroth, then why does he know stuff? And this is a question that this is part of my actual theory on
me too.
What is going on with the game.
Yeah, me and G agree over this.
My theory is that the live stream, okay, it's powerful. It's
incredibly
power and
powerful
knowledge of millions of years of the planet existing, or how long it's been existing, the life and the knowledge that has been gained over time, and it is aware enough anyway to protect itself. And that's we already know that with the weapons, okay, that protects itself, and it has the life stream, which is a force that's very powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the life stream also has like knowledge, right? And with knowledge, with enough knowledge, you can predict anything. You can predict literally every single action with enough knowledge.
Totally.
If you had it. But I mean, we're talking ridiculous amounts of knowledge, maybe about as much knowledge as, I don't know, the entire history of a planet.
Yeah.
Give or take, right? I don't know, something like the live stream. So it's not about time travel or going back in time or existing at all times in space or whatever. It's about advanced prediction. The planet is very powerful, it's very smart, but it knows that there is a path for it, that it will be okay. It will suck, a meteor will come almost crashing down, but it will be okay, and it knows that this is a thing because it knows the pieces on the board, and it knows how those pieces are going to interact. So
Totally.
Sephiroth died 5 years ago. Okay, Cloud killed him, threw him right into the
Yep.
freaking Mako
That's a
reactor.
fact.
He's
We
in the
know
live
that.
stream.
Yep.
Sephiroth has a very strong willpower, and he's able to maintain his own consciousness in the live stream and start to reform his body in the Northern Crater.
Absolutely.
So he spends 5 years stewing around in the live stream, learning all of the live stream secrets and knowledge and power.
Totally.
So the reason Aerith also knows this stuff is because she's an ancient, but she doesn't know quite as much as Sephiroth does. She just knows that Sephiroth is wrong and something is off, and this is not our destiny. We don't have to just follow it, you know? Like, fate is a blank page. She even says that. We don't know the future of the planet in existence, so fighting against the, quote, destiny of the original Final Fantasy VII is figurative in terms of, like, creative freedom for the writers, but also, it's like, it makes sense. It just makes sense. So the planet has this advanced prediction. It's fate. It's predestiny that it wants you to go down this path, and you're saying no. And Aerith and Sephiroth both have very, very, very intimate knowledge and interaction and experience with the live stream. So, of course, they have a little bit more knowledge than everybody else, why they lead on to having knowledge of previous coming of events, but not too much. Sephiroth maybe a little bit more big events and things like that, but not everything.
Yeah, I agree, just like with a slight different perspective, but it's essentially the same idea. Is that, listen, what are the Whispers? They are the power of the planet, right? And no one's being like, ooh, the planet's time traveling, right? It's the power of the planet. The power of the planet controlling its own destiny. We talked about the Iliad earlier, and Sarpedon and Zeus. It's the same idea, right? Fixed the paradox of fate. So Sephiroth went into the live stream, gained control over the live stream to utilize its powers and reconstruct his body, okay? What is the live stream? It is essentially the souls of all the dead, or rather all the life of the planet that's existed. They are the cries of the planet, the people and the memories and the tears of the planet. Sephiroth then said directly after that Sephiroth he has risen above that. He doesn't even feel them. They roll, the cries, the memories, and the tears and the joys of people, they roll off his back like nothing. Their pain, and he doesn't even care about it. So he's gained that. He has essentially not the same, but some offshoot, some power that the live stream has. He's able to reconstruct his body. He got the knowledge of the ancients. He has the power of Genova, which is a whole other thing. So he has that advantage. He essentially has the same powers as the Whispers, is what I'm saying, right? So it's not so simple as, like, I don't think it has to be Advent Children Sephiroth or OG Sephiroth. My point is, like, he has also become a god at this point, you know, a loose term, we'll say a god, like a godlike power. He's just Sephiroth, is my point. He transcends such simple ideas. Like, he literally slices through fate itself. He doesn't even care about it and walks through it. Right? So that's my thing, is he has the same power of the Whispers, but he forces you at the end of this game to destroy the Whispers so he can absorb their power, which we literally witness. I mean, he just absorbs it. It becomes one with him, and then he just, like, has that purple power inside him. So he's going to be utilizing that. My point is, it doesn't have to be so clear-cut, and honestly, I don't think they'll be so literal to be like, this is me from 2 years later, where you had Geostigma, and then you fought these 3 guys, Kaldaj, Laz, and Yazoo, and then they became one with me. And I don't think they're going to do that. The cool thing is, this is why it's still going to be, you know, essentially the original FF7 is, they're not going to be so literal, man. That's bad storytelling. They're not going to have a 10-minute exposition, you know, horribly masked exposition where Sephiroth just explains, like, this is what happened 2 years from now, but you won't understand anyway. Like, it's stupid. So I think it's just going to be Sephiroth, and we're going to have these cool ideas. They'll probably take it to a finale at the end of this game. Like, you know, more of a final defeat of Sephiroth, if you will. Unless you go with my crazy theory that he's the good guy. But I don't think it has to be so clear-cut. Everybody's so obsessed with, like, it's Advent Children Sephiroth, it's this, it's that, it's time travel, it's alternate dimensions, alternate timelines. I just don't think it's so, I don't think it has to be so clear-cut. He's risen above such simple things as destiny and fate. He literally slices through fate, guys. I don't think it's much to ask for him to have the same power as the Whispers. In fact, he has much more power than the Whispers. He cuts through them and doesn't even care about them, right? So they can easily go back and try and alter destiny. Why can't Sephiroth?
I think
it's him
really
from the future.
To note that, like, time travel and alternate dimension storytelling devices are very well known to be poor examples of, like, introducing a plot. It's a bad plot element, because when you introduce time travel, you introduce literally infinite possibilities.
Time travel tends to be known for being, like, very light storytelling because anything goes, but it also is not a guarantee that if I was to write a story today with BGG, we were to craft a really cool story that had some time element, that it's like bad storytelling, right? It's what we said earlier. There are ways, like if it's well told, to do it right. And the only way it's possible is if, and I talked about BGG about this, to quote Brandon Sanderson again, if you have a hard magic system versus a soft magic system.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially, look at Lord of the Rings, right? A soft magic system is where, and Shadiversity talks about this too, another great YouTube channel, check him out. A soft magic system is Lord of the Rings, right? Do you have any idea what Gandalf can do? Like, what's his list of spells? How does he do it? Does he have like MP or something? When can he do that stuff that he fight? Is it only when he fights the Balrog? Because we never see that again, right? There's no explanation for it, but it's meant to be mythology. It's meant to be more like sacred text. Like it's supposed to be more auspicious. It's supposed to be a mystery. That's the point. Gandalf is an angel on Earth, essentially. That's his equivalent. So it's a soft magic system. Harry Potter was another one I said to BGG, right? Like in Harry Potter, do you have any idea of like the ultimate spell? If you have a story like Chrono Trigger, it's actually quite well done, and it works as a great story, and it's lauded as a fun story with a great memorable characters and everything, because it makes sense. It's not just like, oh, and then you can go back 50 times in a row at any point to save if you want to save yourself, and right, there are rules to it. There is a hard magic system to a degree, even though it's more charming. Even Dragon Ball Z, which I jokingly said, right, like this isn't like Bulma didn't make Sephiroth a time machine, right? He didn't hop in it and go back. Like that's why it's not really time travel at all. It's just like it's the idea of fate being changed. But yeah, with the hard magic system, look at the Jedi and Star Wars. It's a great example of a hard magic system, right? Besides some like weird side content and like extended universe stuff and like weird video game stuff, there's really nothing that extreme. The new movies are fan fiction anyway, but it still doesn't get too crazy, right? Besides people like learning stuff instantly, which was against canon before. Like, you know, you pretty much understand, like when Obi-Wan and Anakin fight, that's why that fight scene is one of the best fights in any cinema ever. Like, you understand it's the climax of the prequels, which taught you like the science of how it all works. So you understand, you saw the Jedi at their peak. When that fight happens, like you understand, yeah, they can force push, they can jump really far if they concentrate, and it uses up like a lot of their force power. They can fight, they have insane reflexes. They're not going to do that in FF7 Remake. It's not going to be like, oh yeah, and then like Cloud went back in time, and then Zack did too, and then like, no, it's clearly Sephiroth has the same power as the Whispers, which is the idea of let's try and control fate, all right? And that's about as far as it goes, guys. It's not going to be like, you know, I don't think they'll even get so deep as like, yeah, then he said I won't be a memory, and then he came back to this scene. So again, I think it's people becoming very like they're holding it to the standards of more like Saturday cartoon level of storytelling, where like everything needs to be, yeah, everything needs to be like bonked over your head. Like it needs to be very clear because it's for children. Like subtlety is a better way to tell stories. Like yes, there's a hard magic system, but there's subtlety to it. We don't need extended exposition. As long as it makes sense and the characters are there, and like Sephiroth's a god at this point, why wouldn't he have the ability to tamper with fate, or to try to like make fate go his own way? It's a really cool idea. It's Sephiroth against the planet, man. It's Genova against the planet, and he's essentially taken her mantle at this point, right? He controls her. He's more powerful. So I don't think it's gonna go much deeper than that, guys. You know, not to disappoint you with not big brain theories, but if we're going the most realistic, I think it's that, guys. We get cool stuff where he fakes you out, and then he still kills Aerith, and you can be like, wait, maybe that is Advent Children Sephiroth. But what it is, it's what BGG said earlier, right? The compilation is not canon. It has not been disavowed. Again, I keep using Star Wars, but it's just what we're talking about. Like, it's not the new stuff where they said, all the Legends is now garbage, forget about it. It's not true. It's all in there, right? It's kind of like nice Easter egg nods to everybody. You have the Crisis Core scene, because it's a well-made scene, and obviously Zack is an integral part of Cloud's story. So that stuff's gonna be in there, but no, we're not gonna have like an hour scene with Angeal, like absolutely not. If it serves the story of providing more value to Cloud's use of that sword or whatever, like cool, give me a 5-second thing with Angeal. Sephiroth is Sephiroth, right? He's so powerful he can do whatever he wants. Aerith, the same thing. She has the knowledge of the planet. If she went into the life stream at the end, which guess what? Cloud lowers her into the life stream. And then we see her have control of the life stream at the end, like we discussed earlier. Her will also has power, and her being, you know, pure. She is an ancient. She does have the connection to the planet. The planet speaks to her. It's this idea of the two of them having this greater knowledge and battling each other. It's like a battle of wits at this point between Sephiroth and Aerith with their greater knowledge, and it's going to come down to who can win out the day with the knowledge they have. Aerith probably knows she still has to die. Don't know though. Yeah, but that's kind of it. That's my big brain theory, is that it's not gonna be so crazy. There's gonna be more fun stuff that Nomura kind of provides for us to feast on, like this awesome conversation we're having. But nothing's gonna be ruined. Nothing's gonna be crazy. If anything, they give us, like I said, another auxiliary kind of cherry on top ending, which maybe it'll involve, an extra meaningful ending with Cloud and Sephiroth. Like, guess what? They're going back to the Edge of Creation. That's a fact. That's where the last battle is going to take place. It's going to be there. Cloud's going to figure out what the 7 seconds thing means, and then they're going to fight, but Cloud's not going to get, bodied like he does in this scene. He's not going to get played with. It's going to be a real duel, because Cloud will then be, like, as powerful as we described. He's cleansed. He's his whole self again. He's come out of the live stream with Tifa, and he's no longer weighed down by Genova's cells, by Sephiroth's manipulations. Like, he's fine being who he is, and that's that goofy dude who says "Let's mosey," right? He's not cool, but that's what makes Cloud, right? So that's what I think is gonna happen, and that's the opposite of big brain crazy, lose your mind theory.
I think that we're going to get very similar storytelling to how this was,
yeah,
where the major concepts and the major, like, direction and like order of events is going to remain unchanged, but we're going to see a lot more depth of character development, and there's going to be a little, like, smaller punches being thrown at the veterans to make sure that they get kept on their toes. I think the biggest thing to look forward to as a veteran of the FF7 game is how they evolve the combat, how they change.
Oh, absolutely.
Theories on that and possibilities, but I think it's for another time.
Right. We'll have that convo, but yeah, that's equally exciting. I agree. Like, we have so much to look forward to. It's the story, but for me, it's adaptation. I know that a lot of people aren't using that word, but this really is an adaptation to me. Like, it's almost as extreme as taking a book to screen, because it pretty much is. Like, it's Lego people with text on the screen, and now you have full acting and facial animations and choreography and camera moves, which didn't exist. And you have voice acting and, human emotion and orchestrated music, not, synthesized music. Like, it's just a totally different thing. So I think I'm just most excited about the adaptation, considering I said this before, but I had stupidly high, like, set yourself up for the most extreme disappointment expectations for this game. Like,
that's kind of where I was at.
Right, yeah.
Cautiously optimistic.
Totally. I told myself, like, I would never do this again after Versus 13, which we talked about before. We won't get into it now, which is awesome, but still just not. It was a different thing than they initially showed, right? And I was like, I'll probably do that again. And then I was like, oh, I'm doing it again. I'm even more excited, possibly. What's happening to me? What have I done? But it exceeded those stupidly high expectations, because I didn't expect this level of adaptation, guys. This level of adaptation that surpasses, like, Game of Thrones times 1,000,000. Like, again, when George Martin wasn't around anymore, like, what happened to the show? It's not that it was worse. It just got more simple. Like, because they didn't have that rich treasure trove to deal into. It kind of just ended. It ended stuff quicker. The scenes went faster. There wasn't, like, that, that rich dialogue every episode. It was kind of let's progress the plot. So that's my point. Is, like, they're adapting this so expertly. It's mind blowing. Like, I was wary of, like, Dirge of Cerberus stuff, and we got the most extreme opposite of Dirge of Cerberus. Like, we have to look forward to is the adaptation itself. How they do it, I want to be honest with you guys, I'm not that worried about it. And that's my point with my whole Nomura video, my whole ending reaction, is that look at this game. You love 95% of it. If you hated the ending, there may be more than 95%, quite honestly. You need to have a little bit of faith in the artists, especially if you love the adaptation. Because the ending is not adaptation. It's new, right? So, yeah, have some faith. Look forward to it. And I think we're all going to get deeply rewarded. On that note, if there's any more crazy theories, let's get them in the chat. I know you guys have been talking a lot about the stamp thing. It seems to be a huge talking point, is the stamp thing. Again, I don't think the stamp bag being different is, like, some confirmation of anything.
Bag just means change.
Yeah, it means change. And even if, like, it's kind of a paradox to say that, like, oh, now it confirms things are going to be different, because the stamp bag's different before the Whispers die, right? That's literally so. What's the big deal? Like, if it was different, then it doesn't make any sense. Like, it was already different, so it's just a different timeline. Cool. Like, it doesn't affect our story, though. It's a different place. So honestly, if they do the different timeline thing, like, I think the reason people would say it's cheap and they're upset is if all of a sudden, like I said, Zack is your 10th party member. He's like, oh yeah, no, I was just in the other timeline and I hopped over with like whatever magic, and now I'm here and I'm on your party and everybody's happy. And I can be with Aerith, you can be with Tifa, and look, we're all a happy family. Like, that's cringe, right? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
It's like 14-year-old edgy fanboy of XYZ character that wants everybody to be happy. And then, of course, they go over to their best friend, Brad's house, who just happens to be my name, you know, and we all have a cool time. We play Mario Kart, and Cloud's actually really good at Mario Kart, but I still beat him because I'm better than him. But it's cool because, and then Tifa lets me look at her boobs once. It's the coolest day of my life.
Yeah. That's cringe. That's cringe. Oh, somebody said in the thing, I was going to talk about this. Thanks for reminding me. Somebody said Marlene is a Cetra. I don't know that Marlene's a Cetra, but man, I got a feeling that they're setting this up with Marlene. That's something I want to talk about.
Even at the end of Final Fantasy VII, she can sense the live stream a little
bit.
She's a kid. Kids are pure.
Totally.
They haven't really been tainted by the world or anything, and they kind of have this like carefree, and they're also more open to the possibilities of the world, you know, because they haven't been told what's real and what's not yet. So they have this sort of like carefree and like, you know, monsters can exist. Why not? You know, like kind of thing. So the idea of the live stream being this like physical thing, like she can kind of sense it.
She can
she's gonna be like, it's happening, especially considering all the like connection that she has with Aerith and everything, and all the other guys that are, you know, part of the troop. So I think, especially since in this game specifically, when Aerith touches Marlene, there's like that little flash.
Yeah, there's that thing.
It's a little bit of like Aerith's sort of power, I guess you could say, is influencing people's knowledge with a touch kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think
it's
really
this is
influencing their knowledge. It's more like, oops, I spilled some of my brain juice on you. Things.
Yeah, no, listen, because I talked about this. So in that scene, it's implied that Aerith does not deliberately give her that knowledge. That's what's interesting to me about it. Did you notice that? A couple things happened. Yeah. Like, it was the director's choice to have Aerith make a surprise sound, like, when Marlene, like, has that reaction. And then she gives her the shh, like, don't tell anyone sign. So, like, why would she give her knowledge and then say don't tell anyone, right? It's a mistake.
I think what happens is it kind of slipped over, and then she kind of, like, sees a vision, and then Aerith's like, you know, winky face, you know, shush, don't tell anybody.
It's our secret. And then what we see later is the opposite. We see Aerith, okay, we need to calm down this red guy, right, Nanaki, and she deliberately puts her hand slowly on his head and, like, delivers specific knowledge to him about the whispers. And he's like, oh, okay, like, now I get it. Like, you're the good guys. I'm on your side. Let's do this. So it's like, what is the deal with Marlene? And at the end, she says to Barrett, she almost slips up and says, like, that girl's kind of, and then doesn't say anything. You should help her. It's like, what? So I think if anything, it's what BG said. Like, she's very pure of heart, Marlene, and I think we're gonna see something along like a more developed connection with her and Aerith. I don't know that she's Cetra because, I mean, maybe you never know, but
it would kind of fly in the face of like original lore and just adding stuff to make it more a cozy, happy ending that Cetra live on.
Totally. Yeah, I want Aerith to be the last one. It's more fitting.
Like, especially with what Nomura wants. Nomura wants more than anything to be able to tell a more darker, gritty story. And being the director, he has a huge influence over the main concepts and core like story development that goes through the story. And I think he's not going to want warm, fuzzy, happy feels. He's going to want something devastating, but you still win. Much like FF6.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point.
The world is destroyed forever.
Yep.
But people live on and will rebuild. You know, it's not like... one of the worst things ever is when games try to do this whole world gets destroyed thing, but then you beat the last boss, and then magically everything gets undone because fairy tale ending. And I cannot stand fairy tale. One of my favorite... Well, I guess it's not really my favorite ending, but one of the most like poignant endings to a show or a TV, movie, game, whatever story of any kind is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh, great movie.
Or Fushigi Yugi or something like that, where there's this like tragic end where like you win, but at what cost? Yeah,
it's called a Pyrrhic victory after a Roman commander, like he was known for like constantly losing most of his troops in battles, but then still winning. It's like a pyrrhic victory, like we won, but at great cost.
But you also have to understand, Disney Lord on high saying you
Yeah,
a G-rated story.
Yeah, you think Disney's gonna let him like murder Kyrie? Is that no? Come on, like.
Yeah, Nomura wanted FF15 to be his dark story. You could see it in the 13 versus trailer. He wanted that to be his like I can tell a real story thing kind of thing, and it got taken away from him. Like this is his chance to be real, and he's already shown like the entire cast of the Final Fantasy VII Remake development team has shown that this is going to be a real story. Things are going to happen. People are going to die. People are going to be hurt, and there's no way that they're going to make Marlene etc. randomly out of nowhere just to have a more of a fairy tale ending.
I don't think it fits, but it also
and then ripped away.
Yeah, I think it's cool too that like if Marlene is just Marlene, right? Like she's like Cloud. Like Cloud has this crazy moment where he is powerful enough to overcome Sephiroth, the great war hero, given he's injured, etc. But I think it's cool, like the idea that Marlene is like maybe she's special in her own way. Like maybe she just has a nice connection with Aerith, and maybe like BGG said, she's so pure of heart that like she can't speak to the planet, but like she has some different connection with nature or something. Like who knows? Like she's not gonna control Holy or something. Marlene, like I wouldn't expect that, but I think they're setting up like I'm fine. Like dude, let's have Marlene be a bigger character in the story. Like Barrett is clearly. I mean, Nomura said Barrett's his favorite character, and you can see that, dude. Like, look at the juicy plot they give Barrett in this game, the amazing scenes. Like, some of the most poignant scenes, like, after the plate falls, they're 100% Barrett. He gets his monologue at the end, for God's sake, before they go into the Whispers. Like, I can't wait to see what they do with it, and absolutely, let's have more Marlene. I want to see Marlene with Aerith again. Like, it's such a cool interaction, and that trust she gained, So I hope we do get that. And I'm just not worried. Like, give me more. Give me 10 times more. Like, it's all so good, man. Like, some of the best scenes are just like you never would have expected. It's Barrett before they go up on the wall at the end, being like, you know what, Cloud? When I met you, I thought you were the worst person I've ever met in my entire life. But like, I know it's all an act, man. I get you now. And it's like that's such a nice little moment. And like Cloud, he's still not gonna stop his airs of being a jerk and everything, but he gets it too. They understand each other. They're friends now. And it's just those little moments, man. Cloud starts joking. He says, like, for the right price, I'll help you rebuild your life. It's like, come on, man. These moments that are so good. Like, most people they're attacking this game at the weirdest parts. Like, again, I'm looking at my comment section from YouTube, and the stuff I'm getting is either, I didn't play this game, but I heard it sucks, and it's Kingdom Hearts. It's like, wait, what? Like Mickey Mouse is in it? What do you mean Kingdom Hearts? It's just these weird, like, yeah, I didn't play it, but some guy on Twitter said it stinks because Tifa doesn't have his big breath. Like it's so stupid. It's so like low level and just kind of whatever. In that case, like the acting is like really good, but Cloud wouldn't do that. It's like first of all, the original writer. I think he may know more about Cloud than you. The guy who wrote the script, and being directed by the guy who drew Cloud and created. Like, I think they probably know a little bit more about Cloud than you do combined. And, Kitase, who directed the original, chilling there, too. Like, I think they can figure it out. Like, how to handle Cloud's character, so.
The development team is also largely made up of people that grew up with FF7.
Yes.
And nothing but love and respect and admiration for it and want to see it in its proper glory.
Yeah, we get to play the Advent Children aesthetic, right? It's not Advent Children, but it's Sephiroth with the one wing. We're fighting in the broken down Shinra city. Like, we never could have imagined this. Orange was asking a few times, too. Do you think that Sephiroth is trying to, like, get rid of Cloud's shortened lifespan by inviting him to join him? It could be Orange. It could be. It's another cool point that it could be. But I definitely think he's noticed the tone that he's using in that scene. More that we get is interactions with Cloud and Sephiroth. Which, why would you complain about that? Do you really want Sephiroth to not say a damn word at the end when you fight him? Really? I don't know that that's the best choice. Like, I wouldn't have liked it if Arden didn't say anything at the entire ending of it. You just like showed in and he grimaced and then he died and didn't say a word. I don't think that's as good storytelling. Tifa wants revenge on Sephiroth for what he did to her father. So I'd love to see that expanded upon. I would love to see a little flashback with Tifa because we've never seen her. We've never seen Tifa train, besides like kind of references to it, as far as I remember. So how cool would it be if we saw a flashback with her in Zangan training? She becomes the master that we know her for. I think that'd be great. We had FF8 music. Ooh, it's gonna trigger all the time travel people. Perfect. FF8 music. But yeah. Hey. Also, like I said in the Nomura video, guess what? Final Fantasy 1. Guess what the main villain of FF1's doing? He's kind of doing something similar to these big brain theories, man. He's hopping through a time loop constantly to, what's the word? Continue this cycle of chaos. And the heroes of light have to band together to stop that time loop once and for all.
I mean, I think the biggest improvement is Tifa by far, because I was never overly fond of Tifa.
Oh yeah, that's a perfect example. Yeah.
In that.
Yeah, she's such a human, which is awesome. Like, I always related to her because of the like, her kindness is her weakness, which I always liked. Right, like we said, like, she knows something's off with Cloud, but she doesn't say anything. Right, because she's so worried about him that she's like, wait.
4 or 5 year thing.
Exactly. And then at the, even in the original game, she does say something. And I believe, correct me, BGG, you've played a lot more than me. In the calm story, she says, like, wait, is that how that happened, Cloud? Kind of like hints, like, what the hell are you talking about? But then Cloud's like, yeah, that's how it happened. So she does try a little bit.
Yeah, even in the entire calm flashback sequence, Tifa says nothing.
Yep.
Even though he's retelling an event that Tifa knows to be not true.
Yeah, and she was there, and she's on two levels. She doesn't want to undermine him and be like, you're wrong, you're an idiot, like, because he's, telling the story. Also,
it's a scumbaggy thing to not say anything, but at the same time, it's also very human to not to like.
And
because you feel like you're like calling someone a liar,
Exactly, but I think it's also the primary reason is that she's worried about him. So it's more of a again, being kind and trying to help him. Again, we see the culmination of her character. I think it's really her, the culmination of her and Cloud's character arc is when they go into the live stream. And notice, like, Tifa decides to stay with Cloud, right? Unless I'm misremembering, like when he's in the wheelchair, or at least she's by his side for a bit. Yeah, I want to stay with him. I want to care for him, because she probably feels that guilt on some level. Like, man, I could have said something earlier. But how do you bring that up? That you most likely have, like, multiple personality disorder or some crazy thing going on? Like, it's not a light. Like, you have deep-rooted and life-ruining mental illness. Like, it's not something you just bring up to somebody. So I think she probably feels guilt on that on some level, and then I think it's their culmination as humans when they go into the live stream and she lovingly helps him reconstruct himself. I think it's a beautiful idea. Man, I'm looking forward to just, like, the traveling over the world map in the next game. Do you see what I mean? Like, I want to see, like, FF15 style, like, camping when they're out in the wild. Like, 'cause you have tents in FF7. That's how you that's how you heal your party. Like, I want to see the campsites. I want to see, how does Tifa and Cloud and Aerith, like, hang out at the campsite and cook, and, like, who's cooking? Who's the Ignis? And
they could treat it like Breath of Fire 3.
How's that? I haven't played it.
You throw it on your tent, and then you get, like, a tent scene, and you can talk to your party members and stuff.
Oh, please.
Check on certain statuses and people and
that's
information
awesome.
And stuff. Save the game, and then
I would love that.
Go on.
Yeah, I wanted that in 15. Like, I always wished that we could have control, and, like, I want to walk around and see what Ignis is cooking and chat with them. And I think that would have been where we got the Brotherhood flashbacks of the anime and the original concept. Would have been really cool. But yeah, I would love that, man. I want to see because we're gonna get that humanity. It's not just gonna be super deformed Cloud with a big head, like 100 times bigger than he's supposed to be, running around the small world map. It's gonna be more depth than FF15 because it's a much bigger world than 15, like many continents bigger than Final Fantasy 15. So I just can't wait. Like, I want to see, like, how do you, and I'm assuming it opens at calm, because that'd be kind of cool, actually, if it just opens with the flashback and then, like, 20 minutes in it's like them in the room and it's a story type stuff, which honestly is where this game shines, man. Like, when you're just talking to Tifa in the apartment, that's one of the best scenes in this entire game. Like, I don't remember what exactly is said. It's where it's the one where you're talking about where you decide what dress she wears. They're just talking. They're just talking as humans. And it's such a beautiful scene. And it's probably the most human scene in the entire game. And I know Nojima's proud of it, because in the behind the scenes, he was talking about that. He's like, I wrote a scene of Cloud and Tifa in a Japanese style flat where she's, like, giving him a tour. And he's like, it's such a sweet, just, like, nice scene. And I'm, like, really proud of it. And I think it was my favorite scene in the game. And it shows, man, like, it's just great writing. Like, it's such great dialogue. So, yeah, just imagine that on the world map, man. You get a whole world to traverse. But, Aerith and Tifa together, and it's just going to be great. Like, think of the sort of, the mini scenes we'll get. Because we got it in the sewers, man. And Aerith and Tifa, nice little, like, let's go shopping scene where they became buddies and trusted each other. Like, we're going to get that with, imagine, like, Aerith getting to know Barrett. She met him for, like, 10 minutes at this point, right? Like, they barely know each other. You saved my girl, thanks. Like, I want to see their relationship develop. Like, this is going to be so much, guys. We're not ready for the amount, so. Character's the best? Yeah, Stardust, for sure. Nojima the man, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, let's start to bring this to a close, kind of like in general. But if there's any more big brain theories, drop them right now, because this is the big theory conversation too. But I think we covered most of the insane ones. Orange said maybe Sephiroth wants Cloud to join him as a thank you for setting him free with death. That's kind of cool. And then he was able to get really powerful. That's kind of cool idea. I think honestly, Orange, you're not that far off. It's just more like he respects him, yeah, for killing him. Respects his power. He respects what he was able to do to him, and he definitely wants them to join him for some reason. I don't know. I was gonna say, remember, if you like Arden and you like how he's like a tragic, subtle character, no more created Arden.
I think what Orange said about Sephiroth is probably the most like reasonable and logical line of thought I've ever seen.
Yeah,
is that like
it's awesome.
Like, Claude set him free.
Yeah, he did.
I think it's like a combination of, wow, he's the one that killed me and he set me free. I owe a lot to him. I will allow him.
Yeah, only him.
I will train him for it. I will like set him free or whatever.
That's a great concept, Orange, and it ties into what we were saying earlier too. Like he's grooming him. He's I mean, because I like that. I do hope they play that up. Like Sephiroth's loneliness, the only connection in his entire life that he's had is the man who murdered him, and he's so lonely. He's like, yeah, maybe he could join me. He's worthy. It's kind of sad. So I'd love to see that played up. I would love to see, my weird thing I thought up on the fly there of Sephiroth murdering another awesome war hero, his rival, and then realizing that was the only connection he ever had. I'd love to see stuff like that. He's like, where's the scene where like Sephiroth and Zack just sit down because they're actually both first-class soldiers, which is like a rare thing, and they just talk for like a couple minutes. Like, where's the the Tifa Cloud scene in the bedroom? Where's the Zack Sephiroth scene where like we learn a little bit about Sephiroth, for God's sake? Is that so much to ask? Maybe he tells that story and he's like kind of sad about it. But to sum up tonight's conversation, fate is not some pulp, low-level idea. Time isn't necessarily either. Time, if told right, doesn't have to be, but I do agree with BGG. I don't think time is going to be a thing in this. The alternate universe even will probably be at the most a Laguna, fun thing, or just a really depressing what if, right? Like, I'm fine if it doesn't affect anything. If we just get like a sad what if where like everybody survived and then you wake up and you're like, oh, but that's not reality, damn. Life is not so...
The future refused to change.
Yeah. It's how you deliver the package of an idea. It's how it's written as an artist. Most ideas have already been done, right? There's only so many. It's about how you make it unique with your artistic vision. So we're going to see how they do that. The other big ones were Mr. Gongaga himself, Zack. I don't think he's alive. Like, I can pretty much guarantee to you, like we said, he's not going to show up and be on your party and be like, Aerith, I'm back. And they hug. And then Tifa's like, by the way, I love you, Cloud. And they hug. And it's like some lame fan fiction, right? Not going to happen. So besides that, what else? Oh, yeah, we talked about the big brain stuff. God, Cloud, God, this. That's my crazy theory, is that Sephiroth maybe is not so clearly bad. He wants Cloud to join him out of some tragic, sad loneliness because he doesn't want to sail the cosmos alone. Big shout out to BGG. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, BGG. Such a good time. Again, we'll pop up your Twitch handle up on the screen. Make sure to stop by his stream. We had such a blast. And is there anything you want to say to the fans, BGG?
I mean, I guess I can say, like, don't just like take someone else's theory and just go, I believe that one. Like, think about what you know about the story and lore of the original, and think about what you saw in this one, and kind of devise your own. And think deeper than just the surface level.
I agree 100%. Yeah. I've echoed it many times tonight, but I would advise you to, or encourage you rather, have faith in the people whose story you love, whose characters you love, because it's them. It's those artists. If you didn't like the ending, that's all it was. It was a climax, right? It was a fun little cherry on top for us OG fans and a nice preview for new fans for a clean story arc. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. Check out BGG. Stop by his stream. He's awesome. And I appreciate you all. Thanks for taking the time, BGG, too. It's been great to have you on. We will... yeah, no worries. Yeah, we'll do it again. We'll be more concise another time, too. We just kind of rambled for 1,000 years, but it was fun interacting with chat, too. So good night, everybody. I will see you around town. And remember to be positive.